Nobody knew there'd be a pandemic or an epidemic of this proportion.
There may and likely will come a time in which we have both an airborne disease that is deadly. And in order for us to deal with that effectively, we have to put in place an infrastructure, not just here at home, but globally, that allows us to see it quickly, isolate it quickly, respond to it quickly. So that if and when a new strain of flu, like the Spanish flu, crops up 5 years from now or a decade from now, we've made the investment and we're further along to be able to catch it. It is a smart investment for us to make. It's not just insurance, it is knowing that down the road we're going to continue to have problems like this, particularly in a globalized world.
The day after an election, the director of the CIA authorizes a president-elect to begin receiving a PDB, a President's Daily Brief. And so the day after the election, they go with this 16-page document and they say, Mr. President-elect, wait till you see the cool things we're doing all around the world. And they've sucked him in. They made him one of the guys. And then we get the feedback at the CIA. Oh, the president loved this. The president had a follow-up question on that. Oh, the president said, oh my God, when he read this.
Well, it almost sounds like you're psychologically profiling the president.
Oh, I think that's exactly what they do.
And so they use the tools that they have employed for decades to subvert foreign governments to subvert their own government.
In 2008, something unbelievable happened for us in the FBI. We were getting lots of rumors about this high-level asset that worked for several intelligence agencies at the same time. He worked for the Saudi intelligence service, he worked for the CIA, and he was being developed as a political asset in Chicago, Illinois. He was not even a United States citizen, but it was said that he was a student visa and that he was a national from another country. In 2008, everyone in the intelligence structure found out who he was. It was this individual whose name I don't like to say, who became president in 2008 of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
One of his code names was Renegade. His real name was Barry Sortoro, but he adopted a different name for his political career. When they ran him for president, the cabal, basically, this was the culmination of so many of their plans for so many years. His mission was to destroy the United States from within, one institution at a time. One of the things he did, of course, was he defunded our military. He brought down the resources that they got. But then he ordered our military in many, many instances and in various theaters to attack our allies and to defend and supply and help our enemies. That's exactly how he created ISIS. He would say publicly that the military were going to bomb our enemies, but then he would have the military actually bomb enemies of ISIS, our allies. He gave ISIS funding and equipment by basically ordering our military to take equipment into a certain theater and then abandon it. And the commanders would say, that's ridiculous. We'd just be handing that stuff over to ISIS. And the president's office would say, don't question orders, just follow your orders. And that was very common. That happened so many times that it demoralized our military. And basically, it took their heart away. It was an awful, awful thing. And that whirlwind just got bigger and bigger and affected the lives of so many FBI agents with integrity, people at DOJ with integrity, that just went through everything in the American government, up to and including when Renegade appointed James Comey to be director of the FBI. He was a pretty well-known bagman for the Clinton Foundation. He had been in many places where investigations against the Clinton cartel had been reduced or had been disappeared completely. And he was brought in to be the director of the FBI for the same purpose, We called him the Cardinal, and he was named after the Cardinal Richelieu from the time of Louis XIV, who was a well-known cabal agent who pretended to be religious, a religious authority, but all he wanted was to amass power. Comey was a person who had this theater of being a very holy person, a Boy Scout whose integrity was above reproach. And meanwhile, he was quietly a cabal agent in bed with the Clinton Foundation at all times. You know, as I saw things getting worse and worse with Renegade and things that Renegade was doing, I decided it was time for me to retire from the FBI. JFK said, "I'm going to take the CIA and break them into 1,000 pieces and scatter them to the winds." These agencies have only gotten worse and worse. There's been no accountability. These operations that they have run against the American people are completely public. The stuff is in the public domain. It's known. Operation Northwoods that the CIA did against the American people. Operation Mockingbird to use elements in the mainstream media. MK Ultra.
Was the Kennedy assassination the start of a long-form coup against the Constitution of the United States by a network of criminal syndicates? Is that coup still trying to play itself out today? Has the mainstream media been complicit in covering up and protecting the groups behind this conspiracy?
Whenever the cabal has a successful project, it creates permutations into many other areas and creates more corruption. Like the JFK assassination, spiraled out into many other assassinations that were also incredibly successful. Well, in the case of Renegade, the fact that they were able to get him into office and they were able to get him going with great momentum, destroying American institutions, that spiraled into this huge tornado of corruption.
And I just say very simply, why doesn't he show his birth certificate? Why has he spent over $2 million in legal fees to keep this quiet and to keep this silent? When I listened today to the tape of the grandmother, and she was saying he was born essentially in Kenya, and then all of a sudden, don't forget, this is when Barack Obama was hot as a pistol because it looked like he was going to get the nomination, and they had a lot of people, a lot of handlers in there, and all of a sudden you hear people all over the room, no, he was born in Hawaii, he was born in Hawaii.
We ask you to bless this day, bless everybody in this room.
We are here with a family who have been the closest people to Mama. And I'm sure the news must have reached his grandson and his family, the former President Barack Obama. With this family, we share the loss of a great-great-grandmother, a great mother, a great Kenyan.
Dr. Chiome Fakino is the former director of the Hawaii Department of Health and a devoted Republican. Until now, she had not talked on camera about this topic.
As a Republican member of the last Republican governor of Hawaii, Linda Lingle's cabinet, do you have any doubt that Barack Obama was born in the United States?
Absolutely not. I have no doubt.
She found the original Obama birth certificate stored in a vault in the Department of Health building.
And what did it tell you? Was it authentic? Was he born here in the state of Hawaii?
It was absolutely authentic. He was absolutely born here in the state of Hawaii.
Barack Obama not only has the same proof of birth as millions of other Hawaiians, he also has the current Hawaii governor's memories of him as a baby.
So you saw him when he was an infant?
Oh, sure, of course.
Some people said, he has a forged birth certificate. Well, first of all, it's true, I'm not American. I was not born in Hawaii. I wasn't born in the United States. I come from Kenya. If that wasn't true, then somebody named Barack Hussein Obama from Kenya, from Africa, would not be elected president of the United States.
When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya. When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya.
I happen to know that my approval ratings are still very high in the country of my birth.
Who is his real family? Well, we're not ready for that discussion. Okay. So we have 2011, Fuddy procuring, I'll say this, falsified, forged birth certificate. In 2012, she's providing verifications. She's sitting there probably hoping against all hope that nobody gets to look at the merits of this case, because she would probably be brought in front of the court.
Loretta Fuddy. That's right. The same Loretta Fuddy, the Hawaii State Health Director, who approved the release of Obama's long-form birth certificate and who recently and mysteriously died in a plane crash off the coast of Molokai.
Finally, the Maui police issued a statement about what was the ultimate cause of death. And they said that Loretta Fuddy died as a result of cardiac arrhythmia due to stress, induced by stress, and they deemed this incident to be an accident. Well, her brother, Louis Fuddy, immediately said to the press she had no history of health problems. She was healthy and she had no history of heart problems. There's actually the footage of the plane crash. And what you see is everybody on that plane was calm. Nobody was panicking. Nobody was screaming. Nobody was trampling on one another. And then while they're in the water, everybody is calm. And why shouldn't they be calm? Because there's a plane hovering up ahead, basically reassuring them that they're about to be rescued. So why would Loretta Fuddy, who has nerves of steel generally, suffer such a massive panic attack or an irregular heartbeat, whatever you want to call it, because she's freaking out that she's about to die when it's clear she's about to be rescued?
His legal name in Indonesia is Barry Soetoro, as shown on this document, recorded at the school he attended. It would have been unlawful in Indonesia to record any but his full legal name on this document. So as far as we know, to this day, in Indonesia, Barry Soetoro remains his legal name. Barry, or Barack Hussein if you will, attended a Catholic school in Indonesia, which was required by law to instruct him in the religion of Islam.
As a boy, I spent several years in Indonesia and heard the call of the azan at the break of dawn.
An exceptional orator, promise for the disillusioned, and change from the status quo. These are all what helped Barack Obama to become president 2 years ago. But now the reality seems to be something far from that. And what is being called a bombshell, investigative journalist Wayne Madsen has revealed in a report that in 1983, President Obama worked for the Business International Corporation, which was a CIA front. The company used to conduct seminars with the world's most powerful leaders as agents abroad with CIA espionage activities. Madsen says this intelligence connection runs in Obama's family. Obama's maternal grandmother, Madeline Dunham, was one of the first female vice presidents of the Bank of Hawaii in Honolulu. The report says this bank was also a CIA front for funneling money to oppressive dictators and rulers, such as former Indonesian President Suharto, who came into power through a CIA-backed coup. In the 1960s, Obama's father had been selected by the leader of Kenyan African National Union, Tom Mboya. CIA files indicate that Mboya was an important agent of influence for the agency. The airlift was a CIA operation to train future agents of influence in Africa, which was a battleground between the U.S., the Soviet Union, and China for influence. As a Kenyan student in the University of Hawaii, Obama's father, who was already married and had a child with another on the way in Kenya, met Obama's mother, Ann Dunham, in a Russian class in Hawaii. This meeting eventually led to their marriage. Barack Obama's mother, Dunham, was divorced when his son was 4. She married Lolo Soetoro after meeting him at the East-West Center at the University of Hawaii, the center affiliated with CIA activities in the Asia-Pacific region. She worked for Tim Geithner's father, Peter, at the Ford Foundation, widely believed to be a CIA front.
The reason this is important, and getting back to his mother goes village to village as a quote-unquote anthropologist to find out who the communists are in the village so they can be executed. and she's an operative. That's what she's doing. That's where the blood is on the hands of the family of Obama. And he refuses to acknowledge any activity about his mother during that time period, other than that she was an anthropologist and, going through these villages, which is far from true. This coup is one of the most underreported American-backed CIA coups in American history, with the highest body count of any coup in American history, the coup in Indonesia, of replacing Sukarno with Suharto.
Number 44 and the one before that, 43, Bush and Obama. Well, there are pictures of Bush with his arm around 8-year-old Barack Obama because his stepdaddy, adopted daddy, Lolo Sotoro, had done a lifetime worth of business with the Bushes. Uncle George Herbert Walker, after whom George Herbert Walker Bush, Bush 1 president, was named, founded Halliburton in 1946 in Oklahoma. And Lolo Sotoro had been international executive vice president for Standard Oil.
There was talk of him being a CIA asset.
Well, yeah, see, he ran the death squads for the Indonesian army. On his own call, anyone could be assassinated. So when George Herbert Walker Bush became head of the CIA under the Ford administration, he just got with his old buddy in the oil business, Lolo Sotoro, and pulled off the hits. See, Barack's grandmother has been acknowledged as being the woman that operated the channels through which CIA money went to the Southwest Pacific. So she introduced her daughter, who had just had Barry, Barack, to Lolo Sotoro, and they got married, and Lolo Sotoro adopted Barack Obama. The name was changed to Barry Sotoro. Now, when he went to high school in Hawaii, I know about that high school. I almost sent my oldest son to it. I could afford it, but I didn't think he deserved it.
Now, Mattson is questioning that if Barack Obama, as is suspected, was subjected to the CIA project, either by brainwashing or being part of it, then it'll become problematic for an American president. He says if Obama has been brainwashed, then he can be controlled. And if he was simply part of this project, then he can be bribed.
All these other ones who thought they were untouchable, now they're going to have to answer for their actions. In the Obama administration, John Brennan had the Tuesday morning kill list meetings because the tech got sophisticated enough that you could just write up a list of people that you want to kill that week. And you dish out the assignments. The teams go out, they kill everybody that's on the list, and then they meet next Tuesday and get that kill list. And you just do it week after week. Well, if you're not having to devote armies of targeting analysts to finding these guys, if your computers can find them just based on their, email messaging, text messaging, whatever, metadata, there, your job's easy. You just fire a missile from the drone, or you drop a guy in that does a close-in shot, and then you get back on the helicopter and fly home. I hate to sound cynical like that, but that's just the way it is.
I think that's just calling it how it is. What year or years was Brennan doing that Tuesday morning kill list?
He started in 2009 and kept it going. I have no idea if Donald Trump kept it or Joe Biden kept it or revived it, but it was something that they were very proud of in the Obama administration. They were just going out whacking everybody.
Yeah, well, nobody dropped more missiles from drones than Obama did.
No, nobody.